we're so focused on the worldly part of our flesh when we're not in the Word and in a relationship with Him. That's why these things are so hard for us to accept that they're true, because we don't have the patience to wait for it.
Right.
And we want it right now. And if we don't have it right now, then it's not true. Or like you said earlier, I think it's easy for us to
I'm being punished.
Yeah, I know that I've done something wrong, so God is not going to answer this prayer. And even that, and this, some people would find this strange, but even that, it takes me back to when Jesus died on the cross. He took on all of our sins, said that we would be made righteous. Mm-hmm. And by putting us there, we were put in His place where He was before He took on that sin. Right. And when He asked the Father for something, it happened. But see, we don't want to. We think a lot of times that if we think that way, then we're putting ourselves equal with God and making ourselves to be perfect people, which we know we're admitting we're not. We're admitting that because of Jesus and what He actually did, that is what gives me
the right
this ability and right to approach an almighty and all-powerful God and say, "Hey, can you help me with this?" You know,
right.
That's what Jesus did. That's the whole point of the entire gospel.
Yeah,
that's what He did for us. That's how much God loves us.
He
even
made
as
the
wicked
way.
And messed up and screwed up as each one of us is, He made a way for us to still get to that point so that we can have that relationship with Him, so that we can be close to Him. But as long as we're listening to the devil tell us, well, you know, you did this yesterday, and you said you treated this person wrong, or you did this wrong, as long as we focus on that, we are basically denying Jesus on that cross.
Mm-hmm.
And then a lot of people say, well, what you're saying is you can just go and do whatever you want. And it's cool because Jesus has already paid for it for you and you're righteous. And that's so twisted, and that's the devil speaking, because again, he wants to speak anything he can against the truth. And the truth is, if you're in a relationship with God and you're talking with Him and you're studying His Word, you're not going to have the desire to do those things, like you said earlier, Brad.
And it'll be natural.
Those things start to fall off of you after a while. You know, the things that you used to do before you started being made a new creature in creation, it slowly, one by one, starts to fall away.
You literally just don't like it anymore.
Yeah, there's no more the pleasure that once was in it is taking out of it for you. Like what you were saying.
That makes a lot of sense, though.
Before, it kind of pleased you to be able to say whatever just popped off, in your head.
No filter.
But then once He starts working with it and working in you, all of a sudden there's no more pleasure in it. It's actually a displeasure, and it's a distaste. And even, that's not saying you won't ever do it again, but when you find yourself doing it, you immediately have a distaste for it.
It literally it's like eating a food you don't like.
Yes.
And it's like, well, I could push through it and just keep doing something I don't enjoy.
Yeah.
And make myself like it, or I could just say, ooh, it tastes bad, and not eat it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the way that it really does happen, man, to where you get to the point where you just don't have a taste for it.
Yeah. It's like taking that Chantix when you quit smoking.
Yeah.
You get about a week into it, and you're just like, I don't like it, and then you just quit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And like you said,
that's the best thing that popped in my head when you said that, because it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
That I'll get to that point. As long as I focus on, pray about it, keep thinking that way, then it won't come natural.
Yeah.
Because I enjoy. It's horrible to say, but I enjoy cussing people out. When they make me mad.
Yeah.
At work and stuff, and then, or I want to call them out for what they're there for, and just do horrible things and just judge them for what they're there for and stuff. And
right.
And I take enjoyment out of it, and I know it's wrong. Like, my family's set me down. They're like, you're becoming a very evil person, and I'm like, I just feel like I'm, just stating the truth. And I've always felt like that if you state the truth as I see it, I'm fine. And here lately, I've just realized that no, that's not how it's supposed to be. And what good am I doing to call you out for your problems and your faults, when I'm just trying to keep the thoughts off me and my faults.
Yeah.
You know, I'm really just hiding them.
And that's what people do a lot.
Well,
A lot
it
of
takes a
times.
big man to actually admit that, dude.
That's right.
And I think once you,
I don't know about big man. I think
Well,
it's
I do.
more, I think it's
I do.
just it's nice
I
to
agree.
finally realize that.
set you free, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It makes you feel a little better about it. You know,
Yeah.
about yourself. You know,
Yeah.
that I'm on the right track.
Right.
That's. I think that's the best way to turn when I'm on the right track.
Well, see,
yeah.
what makes me say you're a big man because of it, because I think so many people get to the point where you're at and it feels like, you know, dung to them, but they push through it because they're like, they really do think they're better than the other person.
Yeah.
And where it's cool that you're saying, hey, I mean, I just want to work on me. I know I may not agree with them. They may have their own issues or whatever, but I want to like do this myself.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that is a realization, man, that would change everything if people would have it. But a lot of people never have that realization and want to just keep hammering the other person down to keep trying to raise himself up.
Yeah.
But it always makes us feel worse.
And that's the thing. I'm tired of the
Yeah.
hate. I'm tired of
me
being
too.
mad.
Me too.
I get
Yeah.
mad at the dumbest stuff
Yeah.
that have no, and then I get mad at the serious stuff. But I just get so mad and I get tired of it. And it was like when I saw Brian over at the fest, and when I was talking to him, you know, about all this, and I just sitting there talking to the way he's so pleasant. I'm talking to you like you're not here about where he's
That's
so
cool because I like being not present.
Yeah.
I like to not be looked at.
Right.
Paid
So don't
attention
look
to.
at you.
I like
Yeah.
to hear good things about me like I'm not here.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not saying it's because he's right beside
Right.
me,
Yeah.
but I knew Brian when he was younger. We were both younger.
Crazy.
You know,
Just crazy.
It was crazy. But to see you know, because you were gone for like 6 years, I guess, out of my sight,
Yeah.
I guess. And to see someone that I liked back then, you know, cared about as a person, to come and see how he feels and how he believes now.
Right.
And it's like, if he can go that way and change and better himself,
Right.
you know, I can too. And then when you, this is going to sound really bad, but
No, this
when you really like somebody and really respect them,
Yeah.
and you look up to them kind of like, hey, that guy's cool kind of thing,
Yeah.
and they're on a different path, and you know you want to be on that path too, you know.
I do.
But was at a path that I've always, well, not always, but here recently started thinking that's the path I need.
Right.
And then when you see somebody that you like doing the same thing and is there, still trying, not saying you're like you think you're there, by the
Oh,
way.
Right.
I'm
But,
Yeah,
but you're
none of
trying.
us
You know,
do.
every
Yeah, I know
step,
what you mean, yeah.
you know, every step you're taking,
Yeah.
you're always trying to better yourself and closer with God, and it's like it makes me feel like I'm cool too, because I'm trying it too,
right.
and that it can be achieved.
Yeah.
Like I can get
That's
there and
right.
keep
Yeah.
trying. That's
Right.
all I got to do.
Yeah.
And that's church, man.
That's
That's
church.
Right. That's right.
That's
Building
what's-
one another up. That's
you know.
that's what we're all supposed to be doing. And
Yeah.
a lot of times, like we say, that's not really what's going on. It's not an actual building up of one another, but that's
Right.
what Jesus told us to do.
That's
He
right.
told us to build one another up, to help one another.
Stick to his word and
That's it.
raise each other up in it.
Yeah.
You know.
And it's turned so far from that. And you know what you were just saying. You know, I don't take any offense to it because you know a lot of times I can look back, and then I think He allows a lot of us to go down different paths for a reason.
Mhm.
It's not because He doesn't love us, but He knows it's going to be for His glory later on. And He's like,
I'm not saying your path was bad.
no, it was bad, and I admit it.
But it was
well, I
the
mean, I
way-
don't know how bad
It was. I do, and I know.
But you know what I'm saying?
When I look back at it and I think how far away I
From
was
God.
from Him, and how far away He allowed me, and this is a part that I think is hard for people. He loved me so much. He wanted to allow me to go down that road, but not go far enough that it would destroy me totally. But to let me go down that road so that I could see for myself all these other paths that I thought might have an answer don't have an answer.
right,
They don't have
because you
the
thought you
answer I
wanted to go
sought.
down that path.
I thought
Yeah.
I could find the happiness and answer in all these other different parts of life. And it's like what you guys were talking about one time about Solomon.
Right.
He tried everything.
Mhm.
And when he got done, he was like, all this is nothing. All
Right.
this stuff is nothing.
Yeah.
You know, it's only when you have that relationship with God, is the only thing that will ever give you a peace and fulfillment.
That's going to make you stronger with God too.
Right.
Because you know now that you took those steps.
And because I've been down that particular path that I was on, if I run across someone else who's on that path, I can help kind of say, I know what you're going through.
You're not judging them. You're like...
I know how you feel because I was right there, you know. And I'm telling you that God still loves you and wants something better for you. All you have to do is surrender to Him. That's it. You surrender to Him.
Yeah, surrender self.
You know.
And you might say that at the point that was the point they needed, that time moment, and they needed to hear that.
Right, because that's part of us building one another up. Even those who we may not think, oh, well, they're not a follower. It doesn't mean that they're not going to be. So why would you not share that with them? And, you know, there are times I think you can share something with someone and they're not going to accept it because it may not be the right time.
And if they don't want to hear it, it's no problem.
Right. I mean, that's no big deal.
They know where you stand.
Yeah. And you can show a lot just by how you live. And, you know, trying to just, like you said, it's a life. It's not a religion. It's a life.
It is. It's a lifestyle. It's a way of being.
And that's what it boils down to. And if we just did more of that and built one another up and helped those in need,
things would change.
Things would change drastically.
So, you know, we can't change anybody else,
right,
but we can change us.
That's right.
And that's what we'll keep trying to do. And if something else happens and someone else gets changed, great. But all I can do today is work on me and proclaim the truth, you know. And, I mean, you said you had to get to work, man, so... We probably should wrap up here, please.
If this is flowing, I'm not
not
stopping. I can always stay late.
Well, that's cool that you have that flexibility.
It's really good, yeah.
You know.
But I was sitting there thinking when you was talking about that, you working on you. Well,
right.
I'm working on me. Brian's working on himself. But we're working on it together.
We are.
Yeah.
Under the same goal.
That's right.
And I don't get that in the church.
Yeah,
and
I don't know.
I know it's horrible to say. Now, there's a few people in the church, I'm sure that y'all... You don't go to organized church now.
I don't.
You don't.
No.
And you go to one of them, and I've been looking. So, I'm sure there's people in your church that... but there's people there that are... You know, they're just like we're trying to do now. You get together, or you can talk to, or... I'm sure there's a few. There's
some that would be willing to.
Okay.
Yes.
And that's the thing that bothers me is because, like, I really want to find a church that I can go to. And, I want to go to church on Sunday. I want to hear what people have to say. I want to learn something new, fellowship with some people. I hate using that word, fellowship. I just want to hang out.
I know what you mean.
I just want to be with people that are happy.
That are serious.
And serious about it.
Seeking.
And they care and want me make me better.
Yeah, hold you to the truth.
Look at me and go, Daniel, you're doing this wrong. I want you to look at it. I want people to tell me that things. I like it. I like constructive criticism kind of thing, you know.
Right.
I build off that. I feed off that. And then that's what I like. And so that's why this right here is, to me, so important. It's just because I feel alive.
Me too, man.
And I wish this was something you could turn into a congregation of people to do.
Well, it may happen naturally.
You know what I'm saying? That would be...
Because we're starting now, it's 3 guys talking, Daniel's out. If we have him 4 guys talking, hey, we'll pack as many guys want to talk up in this attic as we can get talking. And if we flow out to other, we'll flow out. But this is what men are supposed to be doing.
That's I've never felt that before in another church. Now, maybe it was just being younger and not understanding or something, or not caring.
Right.
But, like, this feels right. This feels to talk to people that want to believe the same thing you believe, have the passion, or lack the passion, but are willing to try for it.
I agree, man. And if I didn't mean to cut you off, but I didn't mean to leave the women out. Like, if the men would take the leadership and do what we're doing to lead, and then we would naturally come together with our wives, and everything would be cool, and it wouldn't be all of this weird establishment stuff where it's all this ritual stuff that's actually choking out the word.
Right.
But there's this thing that, like, that this isn't enough, that what we're doing here,
Right.
this couldn't be it.
Right.
Well, I'm saying, show me why it isn't. Like,
Right.
anybody that says that this isn't it, well, show me what it is then. Show me how this isn't it.
Right.
And then we're taking what we're doing here in the privacy of our own home, and we're sharing it publicly to say, just look at who we are and look at how we believe in Jesus.
Right.
And I don't even, I don't really mean to say not talking about women or anything. I'm just saying in general.
Yeah.
I don't ever think of stuff like that politically
Well,
correct
cool.
stuff.
You
I'm real
being
bad
on the
about that.
radio, I try and like say it because there's
I bet
always
you
somebody
had to.
getting all angry at everything that I say.
Yeah, I've never thought
and
that
not
way.
really now, but when I did it before, I would have people sometimes waiting out at the radio station.
Really?
They would never have a real point or something they'd make,
They just
but they
want
would
us.
just kind of jam a knife in my back over
Yeah.
something, And
That
so,
PC stuff I've never understood.
Cool.
But I'm also one of those that,
yeah.
like, I don't have a filter. So that's
Right.
that's why I'm trying to build the vocabulary behind the filters.
Right.
Yeah, and like what you was talking, and this is what's really cool about this. We were talking about this earlier about how it used to be people would come together and help each other build a house.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
They were all working towards a common goal.
Right.
They were all on different skill levels. Some of them would be like a master
I
carpenter.
see where you're going here.
And then, some others would be inexperienced and some would be middle experience, but they would work together to build something great.
Better than anyone singly could do.
And it built up something that was really good that they all had that common goal towards.
Yeah.
And they helped one another.
Mm-hmm.
And like if Brad, if you needed a house, we'd all go build your house, and then Daniel, if you all needed a house, then we'd all come over and like you kept helping one another. Even with your different skills, and through being around others with different skills, you learn new skills.
That's right.
And you learn new things that you can carry with you no matter where you go. If you end up on a different journey somewhere else, you still have that with you that has helped build you up to that point.
It's kind of that give a man a fish and he eats for a day, teach a man how to fish and he eats for a lifetime.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, I think that's kind of what we've been doing in the buildings a little bit, is just giving fish instead of teaching how to fish.
How to fish, right.
And like I said, it's nothing personal. Nobody meant to do it. But it's just happened little by little, just like with our country, to where we've turned into something other than what we were founded on. And the same thing has happened with the building, that we've just, it's like the slip and slide. Y'all used to do that when you were a kid. You throw that plastic out and just put the water and you just, bing, you're gone. And then you fly right off the thing.
Yeah.
And that's what we've done. Mm-hmm. We've flown right off the thing.
Yeah.
And that's, this whole ministry is just a couple of guys coming together saying, hey, let's get back on the thing.
Yeah.
You can't really do this if you're not on the thing. You've slipped off the slip and slide.
Yeah, yeah.
You're
way out in the field.
come back and let's get on the slip and slide so we can do it.
Yeah, and that's
and
that's where that's where the focus really, I feel, and I felt for a while, since God has called me out and called me back to Him. That was one of the first things. Even when He called me back, I was like, but Lord, it just feels so like, it just doesn't feel like you, like when you go into a church. And again, like you said, I don't think it's anything that anyone's done intentional.
I know they have.
And I think that, in their own hearts, they're actually meaning and wanting to do the right
but
thing.
But no one's intentionally trying to get it back either.
Yeah, because it's like, it's comfortable. We're comfortable with it. We're used to it. We're creatures of habit. That's what our flesh is. And it's what my grandparents used to do, and it's what my dad used to do, so this is what we do. Mm-hmm. And it's like, but where is there truth in that? And like we said earlier, you may have a preacher that, at a church, that's not saying that he's not preaching the truth or preaching the word in himself, but a lot of times the people in the congregation may not even feel like that they're worthy to read the word, because they don't feel like they're called to be a preacher, or they may not feel like they can understand it, so they don't.
Yeah.
But that's not what He really wanted us to do.
No.
And you can't have a relationship with God if all you're going to do is listen to one person tell you something about God.
And hasn't that kind of taken the place of us doing it ourselves? Well, as long as He's doing it and I hear it, I get it by osmosis, then maybe I don't have to.
Yeah.
And if that isn't inspiring you to do it on your own, then it's not good stuff. Because whatever is the preaching is should rile you enough to do it in your own life. If you feel that you went there and now I got it and you don't feel riled up, it's not good stuff.
Right.
Because every time you read Jesus, man, when I read him, I'm like, I'm riled up in myself. Like, oh no, I got to work hard. I got to seek him. I got to do this. Even when he's talking about the peace stuff, I still feel my responsibility. If you go there and it's like, well, I'm good for another 6 days, you probably shouldn't go there anymore.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Well, and it kills me a lot of times because I know we all live these busy lives, but it's like, so often we find ourselves in a church and we think, okay, it's from 10:30 to 11:30 or from 11 to 12. I'm going to get there right at 10 or right at 11 or whatever. And then come 12 o'clock or 12:01, I better be in my car on the way home.
Yeah, because football kicks off at 1.
Yeah, or just anything, like I've got all these other things I want to do, and it's like, I've given my hour to God this week. That's what it's.
It's just the wrong thing.
People don't really realize, but that's what their heart is really set on. It's like,
and then I feel bad for even thinking that, but I did.
Yeah, but
I thought that all the time. It's
we all had
I
it
gotta
times,
get pizza,
and
we gotta get home.
Yeah, and it's like,
be like, I've spent an hour with my wife. That's enough.
Yeah, I'm out of here. And it's like, what are you? And my thought on it is what are you really there for? Like, if the minister is up there and he goes over 20, 15, 10, whatever, an hour extra over, I don't care. I personally don't care. If I'm getting fed from it, if I'm getting good food like we had earlier, I'll keep eating. Of course, physically I can't anymore because I'm getting older and I'll get fat. But,
me too.
Spiritually speaking, if I'm getting fed, I don't care what time it is. Just like when we had this meeting the last time, I didn't care what time it was.
Right.
Because I was getting fed.
Yeah, I think it was my wife was the only one that cared.
Oh man, we went over 5 hours.
Like, what are y'all going to do? What is that? Like, honey, I know you think we're over here just like playing poker and I'm losing all our savings. I promise you, I'm doing something that's helping us. It's going to be good. But
and that's to me what gets me so much. It's like, and I'm not saying this about anywhere that I go now, but I've just seen it in the past. Like, a preacher might go over 5 minutes and people start looking at their watch and looking at the preacher, like almost like giving him a signal, like, all right, man, it's 12 o'clock.
Oh, of course.
And it's like, why was you here today? That's my question. Why did you come?
We ain't paying you for overtime. That's what they're looking at.
Yeah, and it's like, well, did you come to get fed the word, or did you come to fulfill what you feel is your duty for the week, so that you can feel better about yourself?
And there is a difference.
There's a huge difference because, and that's one of the things that I've had many arguments about before. Is there's one thing that God cares about, and that's what's in our heart, what our heart is focused on, and what it's about. Nothing else.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And only you know what that is. Now, we can see it by the byproduct of how we act. But, man, we need to be focusing on that.
Yeah.
In ourselves,
Yeah.
And we keep talking about the preacher and the 5 minutes and stuff. I was sitting there thinking about it. How many preachers have taught a lot of good stuff that I was not ready to hear or willing to listen to. I was looking at my clock at 12.
I mean, I've done it. Yeah, I've done it too.
I've been there too.
Yeah, I've done it too, and it convicted me. Like, after a while, God was like, "What did you come for?
Yeah,
did you come here to hear something? Did you
just
come here to hear the truth?
Cover your butt?
Or did you come here to cover your butt so you feel like, well, I might screw up this week, but I did go to church on Sunday for an hour, and it's like." And that was when it really hit me. Like, this is so wrong. Why am I thinking this? Because I'm here for me, and I'm here to make myself feel better. That I did my duty this week, so I'm cool. I'm covered for the rest of the week until next Sunday. It come 11 o'clock. But and that's what. And again, I'm not saying like everyone who goes to a church is like that.
Yes, you are. That's what you're doing. You're judging right now.
But I'm saying I know that people do that because I did it.
Yeah,
sure. And I see other people do it.
Well, it's clear that everybody knows that's the truth.
Yeah,
man.
And it's like, and I get it. We live these busy lives, and we feel them. It's like the more easier we make things, and we think we're making things faster. It's actually just we find that we add more stuff to our lives. Just like we was talking about how if you make more money, you spend more money.
Yeah,
it's the same thing.
It is.
We have made things. Used to, if you wanted to go get a 2x4, you had to cut it out of a tree with a handsaw, not a skill saw or something like that. So we've done all these things for convenience, And in that spare time that we've added, we just add more things.
Yeah. And
So-
now we have no time. We did all these things to where we wouldn't have to cut out the 2x4 out of the thing. And now we'd be a lot better off probably cutting a 2x4 out of the thing. We'd have a lot left over time.
Yeah.
But we've like, hey, I don't have the time to do this. So
Yeah.
then by the time that we have the time to do what we want, there's no time.
Right.
And we'd probably be better off building each other's houses and whittling that 2x4 out. And we'd
Yeah.
find, wow, I still have plenty of time.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. Unless there's something weird that happens, that probably isn't
Yeah.
going to happen.
Yeah.
But it can with us, and we're doing it in kind of our own way,
Yeah.
with that. But
Yeah.
man, I've loved it. I've loved hanging out. I mean, I
I
can't
have
wait
too,
till
yeah.
this turns into 4 guys hanging out, and if it
Yeah.
turns into 5, 6, well, hopefully Daniel's cool. Maybe we'll add this as a bonus feature on Be Real. I can't
We'll
wait
drag him
till
in here
he's
next
back.
time.
But I'll call him or talk to him and
Yeah.
see if he's cool with it, and I'll put it all together, man, and see what we can do. But I think it'd be a lot of fun, man. I mean,
Yeah.
we're getting together like once a month so we can do this. I don't mind doing it over here, man, so we can capture it. And it's, I mean, I just love it, man. And with Daniel Hill's questions,
Yeah.
and you're really in
Did
the
you hear how
Bible
he
too,
said that,
Brian.
too? The way he was like, Daniel.
Well, I was gonna call you
It's so
Dan.
good.
I was gonna call you Daniel too, but you're really not 2. You're.
It doesn't bother me. You can call
I
me
don't.
anything, don't bother
I
me.
don't want to place 1 or 2 or.
Well,
and,
Daniel Lewis is one.
Daniel equal.
He's taller.
Yeah.
He's older.
But I love all of y'all,
He's
man.
one.
Y'all are cool
Yeah,
guys.
you are
Yeah,
too.
and
You're
that's-
you're
It's really
fun.
enjoyable.
You're fun dudes to hang out
Yeah,
with.
I really enjoyed this, but I don't make it once a month thing. I got to
Yeah.
have it more than that.
Well, we can do it when, like I said, man.
it worked out. That's what was funny when you said I'm off Monday, and I'm like, okay, like what? Congratulations, like what do you want? And then when you said you don't do it at 11 o'clock, and I'm like, I can go to work till 11. Yes, that
That's
worked
cool.
out great, and that was really cool. But it was funny when you called.
We'll
We're doing
want to.
Monday.
Yeah.
Morgan, what do you?
And he'll work it out. I mean,
Yeah.
if we do it even formally, if it happens. But y'all are part of my life. I mean, you're welcome anytime. And,
Thanks, you
anytime you got something you need to say, come over. We'll fire the
I
studio
was
up,
gonna say,
man.
anytime, as long as you're cooking, I'll come over.
I mean, I cook whatever I got. The sandwiches weren't that great.
I thought
They
they were
okay.
good, man.
My wife's chili was better
It
than
was very good too.
sandwiches,
Yes.
but
I like both of them.
sometimes they're a lot better if she makes me the fresh bread. I just had regular bread. She makes some killer bread. But
I thought it was good.
anyway, whenever Daniel Lewis gets back, that ought to be a real zoo
Oh,
with all 4 of us, and
Yeah.
then we'll both have to share mics. We'll be 2 on 2. That way, with 2 mics and
Does my
everything.
breath hurt you any this
No,
time?
no.
Okay,
You've
good.
been good. You've been
Yours
good.
is great, by the way. That gum.
Thanks
is
for the gum,
a-
yeah.
Nice.
that's actually-
You might not have sit
Spearminty?
next to me if not.
Well, it's
It's like
spear-
blackberry or
That
something.
was some
Nice.
blackberry twist.
That's pretty good.
Wow, fancy, getting all fancy dancy.
Now, if I'd have had a cigarette come in here
Yeah.
with that and coffee, now I might have hurt you. There.
Right? Hey, man, I know, whatever. I've been through all that. I don't even care, man.
You don't pay attention to it when
Well, I probably wouldn't want you smoking it up here. It'd probably choke me, but I
No,
don't
I'm
even
talking about
care.
You don't notice when somebody's sharing a mic with you the breath.
I really don't, man.
Really?
Me and Tanya both smoked cigarettes for a long time, and it was a hard thing to quit. But I kind of, if you wanted to smoke a cigarette in my living room, I'd let you. I don't care about
No.
that stuff, man. I really don't
I'm
like.
trying to. I've been doing pretty good until like yesterday. I smoked a lot
Hey,
yesterday, but we went outside
whatever,
and shooting
man.
and stuff. But I've been doing really good. Just a couple in the evening.
Gotta work everything out,
That's
man.
right.
But I don't know when. That's the way my family, my grandmother smoked,
Did they?
and like even if we didn't smoke, my aunts and my mom would let people smoke in the house. I mean, that's the way it used to be. I know it isn't politically correct now, but when people come to my house, I want them to feel comfortable. So if you need to feel comfortable, smoke a cigarette, you have a cigarette,
I'm
dude.
fine.
It doesn't.
Dip
If
in. I'm
you know.
just fine. I'm not dipping in one of your vitamin bottles.
Well, I
like-
dip. I mean,
know, that's the
and
weirdest
that's
thing.
I've got
It's so
my
weird.
own issues, man. I'm a country boy, you
You
know.
are.
It's one of my things, and I stopped for a long time.
I've never seen a
but I
country
started-
boy using vitamin bottles.
Well, that's really.
I mean, I know why you.
It's
I
really for my
love that.
wife
I
because
love that.
it's all like when you use the vitamin bottle, you can't see in
I love it. I do, but
and
I,
it's not gross. Like this, I can put the top on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really nasty like those plastic bottles
I
and
love the
stuff.
plastic bottles because, like, if you get a good lug in there, then I can sit there and flash it for my wife. She gets so sick with that.
It is
See, I
just
don't-
disgust her.
Yeah, she hates it. I love
Right.
it. You know?
Well, I did that for years.
Did you?
And only this last time that I started,
He was like,
you know.
I'm going to make this easy.
Yeah, and I'll probably quit again, man, when it falls off. But, you know, out of all the stuff, like the addiction stuff, and I don't even want to get into all that mess because that's its own thing. But cigarettes, man, had its own issue. I actually really enjoy chewing tobacco.
Mm-hmm.
It's like something I enjoy. You know,
yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure the Lord
It's
will take it away. It's not good for me. I mean, my mouth tells me it's not good for me. I
when
know.
the skin peels off in the front.
But
I
look,
mean, mine does too, right there.
I'm not perfect,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but I tell you what, I love Jesus and I'm seeking him with everything. So if somebody wants to throw a stone at me and say, that boy's a preaching and he's a chewing on tobacco too, he ain't a Noah preacher, then I say, well, he who's without sin cast the first stone.
Amen.
You know, and we'll just leave it at that.
Is tobacco a sin?
Well, I mean,
think
you
it's if you're hurting
you
your
bring up a
body.
good question like this. I mean, stuff like that
That's
Jesus doesn't point out, but he says that a man shouldn't be mastered by anything, that whatever
I'm
is
mastered by
mastered us.
coffee and cigarettes.
So
yeah,
I
that's-
think that
it's
we
true.
all have to look at the stuff that we're mastered by as far as him saying this is a sin to take this into your body. He clearly said that what a man takes in his body does not make him unclean.
Right.
So, I mean, it's clear to me that there's certain roads you can go down, but if someone said, just because you take that into your body, you're a sinner, well, he said, it's not what enters a man that makes him unclean, but what comes out. Now, it's when you get into these issues of, are you mastered by it? If you run out of tobacco at 2 o'clock in the morning, are you going to get out of bed and drive, 40 miles to get it? Then
It just depends on if I'm up or not.
well, there was a point where I would have done that and it had to
Right.
go.
Gotcha.
And so, but I'm not justifying it and saying it's not a sin. I think that if someone judges that as a sin, for him it is a sin. If it's not, then it's not.
Right.
Is it good for you? No. I mean, there's probably no doubt about that. I'm not trying to justify it.
I was just wondering.
But I'm not trying to hide it either.
That's right. Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't. I think we get into problems when we do all that and act like, well, I have these things, but I'm going to hide them. And that's something that I think people probably don't like about me. It's like when I did Bible Fest, and was reading the Bible, a lot of points in that I was dipping, and
When that becomes the issue, you're focusing on the wrong issues.
I think so.
I mean, that's just my thought.
But the older generations don't see it that way, man. They see it like, if you're going to do that, just do it, hide it away.
Right.
Just hide it. I don't care if you do it, but just don't let me see it and don't put it with this other stuff. And I think that our generation's completely different with that stuff. And I don't know. I think we need to search the Bible. I don't think any of us should be mastered by anything other than Jesus. And I think that today all of us are mastered by things other than Jesus.
Yes.
So I'll work on that and y'all work on it.
We'll
Whoever's
work on it.
listening will work on
We'll
it.
all work on it.
And we'll
I've never heard
he'll
it
clean
put
us
that,
up.
I've never heard it put that way of
Right.
being mastered by. I like
Well,
that.
Paul
That
said
makes
everything
sense.
is permissible, but not everything is beneficial.
Right.
I ask people, well, what sin then didn't Jesus die for?
Exactly.
Did he not die for that sin?
Yeah.
But clearly everything is not beneficial either. And he works those different things out, but I think we don't get hung up on them, but yet we don't just discount them either.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just see what happens.
So I got some more questions for next meeting.
Well, cool.
Cool.
Well, hopefully then it'll be 4 guys talk, but this time we were just the 3 stooges.
Yeah. Surprised I didn't fall asleep after you fed me.
Yeah.
Surprised I could talk.
Hey man,
Good
we
job.
did good, and,
Yeah.
and you better get to work, man.
Hey, they'll be there when I get there.
Yeah, they
time
ain't
is
going anywhere, are
What
they?
time is it? What time you got over there?
I think it's 1:40 over there by my clock, so we'll go ahead and wrap it up. I'll put
I've
this
been
stuff
watching.
together.
Every time I look over, I wasn't looking for a clock. I was watching the green line.
Yeah,
And when you talk, and me and Brian talk, I was just looking at the differences. I was just paying attention to that.
pretty cool, man. And I guess we've been going, man. This is 1 hour and 2 minutes, so it's a
Nice.
long show.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'll put it together. It takes a long time to actually do it all. So I'll make sure Daniel's cool with everything. Make sure that my partner in crime's cool with the way I do it. But we'll get it up, man.
This will
soon.
be the lost tapes.
Yeah. Well, I think we'll put it up. I think he'll be cool with it. I had talked with him about it before.
Very lost.
the you might want them lost tapes, huh? Well, I really loved hanging out with y'all, man, and can't wait till we do it again, and who knows what'll come out. So it was great, man. We'll see you.